Most of these questions are stupid and about animals. So what would you like to tell us about Playing in the Shadows before we get to the stupid stuff? Playing in the Shadows is my new album, my third album. It's my favourite album to date. I'm not just saying that like media trained American artists. It's probably my masterpiece, and I've worked on this and my whole life was about this moment. It's not that. It's just my last two albums weren't very good because they were kind of me finding my feet, learning who should I be? What should the example be? No, it's epic, it's emotional, it's personal. Some of the best producers in the world on it. I hope people like it. What would be worse, a dog with a human face or a human with dog's face? I think that should be with a dog's face. Whoever typed this is an idiot. I think a dog with a human face would be weirder, because I've actually been at a party and seen a human with a dog mask on, and it wasn't actually that weird. So maybe I was on something. I don't know, I've dealt with it quite normally, so humans with dogs' faces in my eyes are pretty normal. Now that you, Professor Green and Plan B are successful, isn't it time the Mitchell brothers got their act together? Yeah, I haven't really heard from the Mitchell brothers for maybe 3-4 years. I got on really well with them. I really liked Tony Mitchell. I got on particularly well with him. I think what's happened is, when I was signed to the Beats with Professor Green and the Mitchell brothers, and obviously Plan B was affiliated, being on 679 with Mike Skinner, I think it's fair to say neither me or Professor Green were given a good opportunity to break through. My album came out, I didn't really know what I was doing. Professor Green was kind of making mixtapes and had just finished battling. And it's fair to say Mike Skinner saw maybe star potential in me and Professor Green, but none of us were ready back then. So it kind of made sense to be dropped from the label. Whereas I think the Mitchell brothers, on the other hand, were maybe a few years ahead of us. They were the first signings and they had quite a lot of money spent on them. And I think they were given a pretty good opportunity to make a go of it. And for whatever reason, they didn't connect. And I'm not saying that in a diplomatic way. I actually really liked their first album. There's some really good songs on it. Maybe the UK wasn't ready for rap stars then. You know, like, don't forget this is, Kano was about, Sway was about. Skinner was obviously really successful. Dizzy had mild success. But it wasn't until maybe 2 years after the Beats failed that UK rappers really started becoming household names. And, you know, the Mitchell brothers kind of missed out on that. And Dizzy was the first huge name. And then I suppose Tiny. And, you know, Professor Green as well has obviously had massive success. And Plan B completely reinvented himself. Interesting subject. I'm sure everyone's got an opinion on that one. What's the biggest animal you think you could kill with your bare hands? That's a good question. I mean, I think, you know, if there was a massive shark, like a bull shark, but it was out of the water, because, you know, it doesn't specify if they're in their natural environment or not. If there was a massive bull shark, obviously it wouldn't be able to move, and it would just be lying there. I think if I punched it repeatedly in the face, but avoided the mouth region, took out a few eyes, eventually it would die from a lack of oxygen anyway, but I could claim that it was my fist that killed it. So I'm going to go for a massive bull shark, or even a huge whale, although I think even if you punched a whale, it probably wouldn't feel it, because whales bump their heads on boats and stuff and they're okay. And I'm pretty sure my punch isn't as hard as a bump from a big boat. So there's your answer. What did you want to be when you grew up? I think when I was a kid, my mum will tell you I wanted to be a burglar. I was obsessed with burglarizing. I was obsessed with theft. Not in that way. I was sort of like, what's the word? Like, is it a kleptomaniac? You just have to keep nicking stuff, innit? Not like loads of stuff, I mean like innocent stuff. Like if you go to pick a mix, I'd always pocket a few things. I think I stole a couple other bits, but nothing big, you know, petty crimes. So I wanted to be a burglar until I was about 10, and then I saw sense and decided I should be an astronaut. And then I realised that it's like 1 in a million people, maybe 1 in 10 million people get to become an astronaut, or a cosmonaut, as they were referred to in the old USSR. And then I wanted to be a film director, and I've somehow ended up here talking about music. So what a journey, eh? People always moan that today's pop stars can't really sing, so is it wise that you're singing on your new album? I think just do what makes you happy, really. I mean, I don't think I'm an amazing singer, but I think I've got a unique voice. I'm tuneful, at least I can sing in tune. Some of my favourite bands, Kasabian, Nirvana, Blur. I don't think Damon Albarn or Kurt Cobain or Tom Lynn from Kasabian are amazing singers. I think they're unique singers, and that's kind of where I draw my inspiration from. But you know, there's people who win X Factor. You know, Alexandra Burt's got an amazing voice. You can't really argue with her amazing voice, or Leona Lewis. But whether or not they're a credible artist or not is a completely different matter. Probably not wise I'm singing on my new album. We'll see. When did you last stroke a rabbit? I think it would have been, I was at Australia Zoo, which is a couple of hours north of Brisbane. I was in Australia there last Christmas. I went to Australia Zoo and I spent most of the day looking at alligators, crocodiles, reptiles, various reptiles, most of the reptiles in the world actually. And then I noticed there was a small petting zoo with rabbits, goats. I think there might have been a pig, a baby pig. And I definitely touched a rabbit then. So there you go, it was quite a big rabbit. I think there was a tortoise as well. How come you're not in the celebrity Big Brother house? There's no one representing urban music like they usually have. I don't really think I'm urban music anymore. I think I'm dance. Although I've just got a Mobo nomination, which is a bit weird. Because although, you know, it's a nice thing to be nominated, I'm not knocking it. If we hear Change the Way You Kiss Me, I'm not really sure where the black origin is in the German techno-inspired Change the Way You Kiss Me. I'd say that song was probably rockier and dancier. But I have worked with people of black origin. So thanks for my Mobo nomination. Be nice to see some more Afrocentric artists in there though, really, I think. Because after all, that is what it is. And back to Big Brother. Fucking hate that programme. I wish it had got burnt down during the riots. Couldn't give a shit about it, haven't watched it. Will the riots influence what you write about? Is it time for your generation to make more political music? I don't think political music's important. I think any music with a message is good. I think if it's a message about love or hatred or friendship or anything emotional is good. I mean, I wrote Stay Awake about raving all night, and will all this excess, partying, drugs, alcohol, affect my generation, our generation in the future? I don't really know if there's an answer, but somehow people link that into the riots. If we don't kill ourselves, we'll be the leaders of a messed up generation, which is fine, because you know, music can mean whatever it wants to that particular listener. Certainly, I don't know if there's a place for really political stuff in the charts at the moment. I'm not sure about how today's markets would actually react to it. I think you have to kind of do it in a subtle, ambiguous way, which I think I've done in Stay Awake. It's not like the days of punk rock or the Sex Pistols or the Jam, where you can actually get out there and have a go at the, you know, Maggie Thatcher. But I'm certainly not going to write any riot-based songs. All kids go through a stage of thinking they can rap. When did you realise you actually could? Don't know. Tried it when I was 11 to fit in. Thought it would be cool to, you know, pretend I could rap, and somehow ended up doing it as a career. Well, I'm a singer now anyway, you know. But I think I was about 11 or 12, and I thought, if I can nail this rap stuff, I won't get beaten up. I didn't get beaten up much, but I still wasn't very cool. They're planning to bring wild wolves back to Scotland. Which wild animal would you like to see in London? I think it would be nice to have killer whales in the Thames. Sort of, you know, from where the Thames mouth starts, maybe up to Putney Bridge would be good, because I live between Hammersmith and Putney Bridge, and I think if they get any further down the Thames, you'll just get millions of people queuing up along the banks of the Thames, and it will just affect traffic and like congestion in central London. I think killer whales, you know, because they always jump out of the water and like doing flips and stuff. So killer whales in the Thames, between like the mouth of the Thames all the way down to Putney Bridge. Maybe if there was a kind of get those underwater gates they have at SeaWorld, that would be quite cool. And you know, maybe if we can tame them, you know, it'd be nice to see people riding them and stuff. I think wolves back to Scotland isn't really going to do much, because every kid in Scotland carries a knife anyway. So should wolves make it onto an estate in Dundee, they're going to get fucking shanked. Whereas killer whales are cool. You know, I think the wolves are going to die out in Scotland pretty sharpish, unless they get over Hadrian's Wall and escape into England.